I'm Marianne Hauk here. Okay, so I'm starting this over because I was halfway done with this, and then my girlfriend just called, and I don't know, on the iPhone, if you're in the middle of a video, it just stops the video when the phone rings. You can get a text, and that won't bother it, but when the phone call comes in, which I don't normally get a whole lot of phone calls, it's usually text, but, so anyway, I'm starting over. So I think I'm on 55 today. So today's video is about how short life really is. It could change in the blink of an eye, and sometimes you just have no control over it. So we had an incident in my neighborhood last night that was kind of scary. So I went to bed about 2 after I was working, and I was dead tired. So I must have fallen asleep pretty quick. And about 4:15, I heard this knock on the door, and I'm like, oh my God, what the hell? And it really scared me because I'm like, why would somebody knock on my door at 4:15, right? That's obviously not normal. So I get up and I look out my bedroom window, or the little window at the top of the stairs. I can see down to my front door. So I look out and I happen to see a cop car at the curb on the street, and then I live in a cul-de-sac. So all my neighbors and everything, we know each other, we kind of know what's going on, and when somebody's gone and stuff. And so I'm like, oh God, I hope nothing happened to one of my neighbors, right? So I see the cop car, and then I look down and I see 2 cops standing at my door. I'm like, oh crap. So, everything goes through your mind, like, what the hell happened? And you just, all these thoughts go through your head, like, what could this be? My kids were with me. They were asleep in bed, so I knew they were okay. So I go down and open the door, and I peek out. I'm like, yeah? And he's like, oh, sorry, ma'am, sorry to bother you. We're just asking all the neighbors if they heard anything in the last hour and a half. And I'm like, no, what am I supposed to hear at 2:30 in the morning or whatever? And so he goes, okay, can I just get your name and your birth date? And I said, well, I don't understand what's going on. Why, what do you need my name and birth date for? And he's like, well, we're just documenting that we talked to the neighbors. Something happened here. I'm like, okay, what happened? And, I know they can't tell me, but, so he goes, there was a car accident. I'm like, okay. I'm thinking there's car accidents all the time. Why are you guys, going around the whole neighborhood asking if we heard anything? So, I was kind of confused. I'm like, I don't understand. So he goes, okay, so I gave him my name, and he asked my birthday, and then he says, is there anybody else in the house with you at this time, or when, at 2:30-ish? And I'm like, yeah, my 2 kids are asleep upstairs, so I had to give their names. So, and I said, what happened? Why, what's going on? And he said, well, there was a car accident. I'm like, okay. I said, right here on my street? And, because I would have heard that. It was right in my cul-de-sac, right? So I'm like, well, he's all, yeah, over here. And I'm like, okay. I said, one of my neighbors? And he's like, I don't know. And I'm like, okay. So he kind of walked away at this time. He goes, sorry for bothering you. So, of course, I'm awake, right? I was so tired, but I was kind of freaking out. I'm like, okay, what the hell happened? I didn't see anything else going on the street. So I look at my kid's bedroom window, looks out over my driveway and into the cul-de-sac, so I can see all my neighbors' houses. Except there's one street that goes straight as you come in the driveway off for the court before you turn onto my street, and I can't see some of those houses from my house. So I didn't know what was going on over there, but I looked at my kid's bedroom window, and there was a cop car, another cop car parked here blocking my driveway. And then there was orange tape around the neighborhood. And I'm like, what the hell? So I kept looking out there, looking to see if anything was going on. The cop car was just, the guys were in the car, the cops were sitting in the car, just sitting there. So I had no idea, but of course I'm awake the whole time, right? And I had already only slept for like an hour and a half at the most at this point. And I had to get up. My alarm was going to go off at 6:30 for school. So I'm like, oh my God. So I was awake till probably 5:45. Finally fall asleep. Of course, my alarm goes off. And I'm like, oh my God. So I get up. I look out the kid's window. And sure enough, the cop car was still sitting there with the orange tape around, blocking off our street. I'm like, oh, what? Okay. So then I get the kids up, we get ready for school. We were totally late because I got up late because I didn't sleep. So we're rushing around the house. So I open the garage door to go out, and there's a cop standing there talking to one of my neighbors. And I'm like, I walk out of the driveway, and I'm like, okay, what's going on? And then I see all this commotion over at the side street where I couldn't see from my windows. And the guy says, oh, the cop says there was a car accident last night in one of the driveways of one of the houses next to me. I'm like, okay. And then he said, and the person died. And I'm like, oh my God. So I'm just thinking to myself, it's that quick. So my kids come out to go to, to get in the car and go to school, and the cop says, you may not want to bring, he goes, you can't turn right out of there anyway because it's all blocked off. You have to go left and go around your street, around your block. He goes, but you may want, tell the kids to look the other way. He said, because the body is still laying there in the driveway. I'm like, oh my God. So this was like, 5 hours later, right? So I'm like, oh my, really? So we get in the car and we're driving the other way to get out. And and of course, how it is when you have to look for some reason. I don't know why that is, but I'm sure I'm not the only one that does that. So of course I look, as I'm turning, I look this way and I see the girl laying in the driveway between the car and the garage door. And I'm like, oh my God. So, anyway, we drive to school, we're late, we go in and I'm talking to a couple of the parents or whatever. So I'm just thinking to myself, so I get home, I come home, I have to go around the other way, and everybody's still there, all the news trucks are there, there's total commotion going on. When I got back though, at like 9, the car and the body was gone, but it was the news and everything. The garage was just all bent in. We have automatic garage doors, all bent in, and the whole side was just almost demolished. I don't understand how it happened. So I'm looking at the news. My brother lives right around the corner from me. So he calls me, and he actually heard the crash in the middle of the night. So he called me and said, what the hell happened? But, so, we're looking on the news and everything. So anyway, what happened was it was 2 friends in a car, a little SUV. They don't even live there. No, but the house is empty right now. They're actually working on it to sell it or to rent it out. We don't know, but the owners moved out several months ago, so we don't know why they were even there in the driveway. And it was a 27-year-old girl and a 26-year-old girl, and they were actually friends. And somehow one of them got out, and the other one ran over her when she hit the garage. I don't know. That's what the news story said. And I'm thinking, holy crap, that quickly, she was drinking. So the driver, well, they both were probably, but the driver was. And so quickly, your life, for her is pretty much over. And I mean, obviously her friend, unfortunately, I didn't know them, but it just kills me to think that quickly you're driving when you shouldn't be driving, and they're 2 friends, and just like that, one friend's gone and the other one's in jail. I mean, she had stayed, the neighbor called the cops, she was arrested for driving under the influence, and she's also arrested for vehicular manslaughter. 26 years old. Or 27 the driver was. I mean, seriously, 27. She has the rest of her life ahead of her. That is so young, and to make one stupid mistake like that, to get behind the wheel, and that was it. And now she has to live with that the rest of her life, and she'll be in jail for God only knows how long. I mean, it floors me when, I know I'm old, I'm almost, not quite twice her age, but I'm, 20 years older than her, put it that way, than the driver, and I know better, obviously, to make the right decisions, but just like that, her life, hers and her friend's life is over. She has to live with that. I don't know. It leaves me just flabbergasted that you never know from day to day what's going to happen. I mean, you really don't. It's so bizarre, and it's pretty scary to think about it sometimes. that just how short life actually is. And if you don't enjoy it while you're here, what's the point? You know, you have to enjoy it. You have to live it to the fullest every day and just, you know, be happy. And there's just, to me, there's no point if you're just going to walk around, you know, existing and not living and not being happy and, you know, be miserable all the time. So anyway, it was just the weirdest night. And, you know, my kids were pretty shaken up when they went to school, but I, you know, reassured them that it was an accident and it was not a, you know, because my son's like, oh, it was a murder in our neighborhood, you know, because we didn't know at the time what had happened this morning before I heard the news story and everything else. But so it was an accident, and, you know, and it's really sad. And I feel for the family of the victim, because it's just like that. It's, you know, she's gone. So anyway, my point is, and this is longer than I wanted it to go on, but, and again, it's Monday, I'm at soccer practice. Well, my daughter is, I'm watching. It's freezing outside today, so I'm sitting in my car because it's windy and really cold, and yeah, it's just, you know, not typical California weather, but we, you know, we do get this once in a while. It's fall. So anyway, that's it. That's my 2 cents for the day, and I hope everybody had a good day and is having a good night. Well, we'll have a good night. It's about 4:30 here. So, and we'll talk soon. Thanks. Bye.